When you see a monkey, do you think that we are directly related to that species? Do you think this because we share about 99% of our genome with them? Or do you say this just because you've been taught that we evolved from them all your life? In 1859, a brilliant man called Charles Darwin published his book called The Origin of Species, which mapped out his theory of evolution via natural selection. In his book, he wrote how organisms change over long periods of time in response to their environment. Genetic variation causes slight differences within each new generation of a species. You are not a perfect copy of your parents' DNA, just a slight variation of them. Over centuries, animals in different species have evolved and adapted to their new environments. And, if given enough time, these changes can result in an entirely new species forming. Humans themselves have fallen into the chain of evolution as well. A really common misconception is that people believe that humans are directly related to chimps, and although we share a common ancestor, we are not directly related to them. Welcome. My name is Lisa Livingston, and we will be discussing humans versus monkeys and the race of evolution. It's true that humans are apes. However, the apes we're related to, like chimpanzees, are very, very distant relatives that have several hundreds of thousands of family branches. It's like saying a chimp is our 580th removed cousin. The one ancestor we do have in common is no longer alive. This ancestor's name was the hominoids, which is a mix between humans and chimps. These so-called hominoids emerged and diversified during the Miocene epoch era, which was approximately 7 million years ago. Now, you may ask, why are these ancestors gone? Well, that's because humans did not evolve from modern apes. We do share a common ancestor from about 7 million years ago that is now extinct. If humans were truly apes, then the apes in modern day should have evolved to new and advanced cultures along with our species. But they didn't. These monkeys are still simple-minded, banana-loving creatures. The ancestors that we did evolve from are no longer alive because evolution continued a progressive nature within them that made them into who we are today. You see, it makes sense that they are no longer alive, because if they were, then humans as they act and behave today would not really exist, and the concept of evolution would not be real, because they'd still be stuck as monkeys. But that's not really the point. The reason I brought this misconception up is because I wanted to know how educated my class of 2025 was on human evolution, and if they understood the chain of our ancestors. The poll results were really interesting. Only about 38% of the people I sent out the poll to said that they knew humans were not direct descendants from apes. The other 62% still left in the unknown. The whole point of bringing up this misconception is to enlighten my peers and show them how interesting our chain of ancestors really is. About 7 million years ago, a big split happened in our evolution chain on Earth between modern ancestors of chimpanzees and bonobos. This split involved our ancestors starting to walk on 2 legs. The coolest thing about this was due to climate change of the world, and there was less trees around, so less need for hands to climb on trees and more of a need for feet to walk longer distances. Now, this ancestor was still not very human-like, but they did start the change in how humans have adapted to walk. Over the years of that split, humans grew into who we are today, and the chain of Homo sapien evolution began. I did notice that an issue with bringing up this misconception is the struggle to find common ground with many religious groups. I went around campus pulling a few people to ask about their beliefs on evolution, and many people I talked to said that they are religious and they take the approach that God created the planet, but they still believe that evolution is a very real thing. This to me was kind of shocking, but also really interesting to see that regardless if they were religious or not, they still believed in the process of evolution. Oh, and any of the other people that I had interviewed that said they weren't religious clearly believed in evolution and Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. So I found that Penn State does take on a very progressive and scientific view when it comes to evolution. So yeah, humans are a part of the ape genus. But unlike most in that group, Homo sapiens have become the most developed and advanced species. And the only closest ancestor that is still alive would be the chimps, but they are still very far removed from our direct descendants. Regardless, chimpanzees are a common ancestor, it's just that we're not direct descendants from these chimps. I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two about the human history. Have a great day, guys.